And that's something that, I personally have talked to individuals about, and Brian, privately talked to Brian and Jimmy and Daniel about it. And, we've also talked about it when we had Earl on the show and we had Kyoto on the show that, the WWE Hall of Fame, whether it be, it's not an actual Hall of Fame, granted, but with this new incarnation that we have here with Triple H and whatnot,
TKO and Nick Khan,
right.
There's real leadership.
Referees need to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And if it's got to be Earl and Dave Hebner as a duo, because you cannot tell me, other than Tommy Young back in the NWA days, there has not been a referee that has done more for this business than Earl Hebner. And there's not one guy that has worked backstage as, man of many hats as Dave Hebner. One of the best angle of all time.
The most
easily
was the twin switch, or what was it? On Saturday night's main event there with Hogan and Andre.
Yeah. How much did you pay him to get plastic surgery, brother?
Exactly. And believe it or not, Earl, when we had him on numerous times, he ended up, either fractured or broke a couple ribs because when Hulk threw him out of the ring, he fell on his ribs.
He's not a trained professional. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. What was that? 33 million people tuned into that or something like that. It's like, it's the most insane number ever. Yeah. That's awesome.
Exactly. But yeah, I've shouted from the mountaintops the last number of years that, WWE really needs to put in Earl and Dave Hebner. And I'm, obviously you can say I'm biased because I've talked to them before. I've talked to Earl before. I do a show with Brian.
But you're not finding anybody who's going to disagree with you, biased or not. Everyone's going to agree with you. Yeah.
But the thing is though, now you see all these guys coming back, whether it be CM Punk or any of these other talents that are coming back with the company.
Demolition.
There's a lot more guys doing a lot worse than, and what what Dave and Earl did wasn't that bad, guys.
Right.
Wasn't that bad.
They didn't sue the company, and that's why Demolition was
exactly
for so long, and they just signed a Legends deal. So yeah, Triple H is known for, rebuilding bridges. I mean, he did it forever ago with Bruno.
Exactly.
So I would think they should get in. I mean, for precedent, like the induction of Tim White into the Hall of Fame a couple years ago was awesome. I loved seeing that. That was really cool. And so you hope that does open doors, because for someone who grew up during that time frame, I was in high school during most of the Attitude Era. Like, I remember Earl Hebner, Mike Chioda, Jimmy Korderas. Like, when you rewatch those highlights, you see them they're part of the story. They're part of it. I mean, there was the ref strike for a while, and the refs were a big part of the McMahon-Helmsley faction. They were always picking on refs.
Yeah.
So they're part of the story. They're part of the dance that they do out there with everybody. So yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that. Whether it's a physical Hall of Fame or not, it's a great way to cap off your career. It kind of proves like, hey, I did do well in this business for however many years it is. Earl's in it for 60 years at this point, because he's still going. He's still going on the road. He's still making towns. He's still going to these conventions.
Man. And
that's awesome.
even after double knee surgery,
they have to get these people in while they're with us and not wait.
I agree.
Well, and that's the thing, though. You see, you saw Lex Luger going in this year, which is absolutely phenomenal. I don't want to discredit that, but seeing a lot of these guys going in now, next year could be that year. But I told Brian that, and I've told Earl that. I said, it's not something that you deserve it. You hear that chant all the time. You deserve that. You deserve it. I call BS. You earned it.
Yes.
Yeah. You were with this company. You did things for this company. You go back to we'll call a spade a spade. You go back to the Montreal Screwjob. Whatever you believe, work, shoot, work, whatever. They didn't go to anybody else. They went to Earl.
Right.
He said, hey, we trust you about this.
Yeah.
And Earl did it. He put his career on the line for that company.
Yeah.
At that time period, absolutely.
And that was a very crucial time period in 97. Yeah, exactly. And the funniest thing, it's, his brother David actually had the car started with his bags in the back. And he literally ran right out of the ring, right through Gorilla, all the way out in his gear, got in the car, and went to the hotel.
In my mind,
and
the
this is
back
all
door's
stories
open,
that
he like dives in like a movie, just
exactly.
right.
And this is all, and this is all stories that I've gotten firsthand from Brian, and I've gotten from Earl.
That's
they've
cool.
actually, in their hotel room, they actually put, how you go to a hotel, you got couches and beds and, furniture. They put the couches against the door.
I knew it.
They were that scared that something would happen to them from anybody. From any of the boys, from any of the wrestlers, or the fans that would find out where they're staying.
Yeah,
and,
I don't blame them one bit. The moment you said the couches, I'm like, oh yeah, barricade the door. 100%. That's what I would have done.
But, you go back and you can talk to, and I implore everybody to go back and listen to our archives with a Bully Ray or a Tommy Dreamer or Kurt Angle. These guys have legitimately said on air, on the recording, you guys, your father, Jimmy, Brian, Earl, David, are the best of all time. How many WrestleManias did you do? Oh, I did, crap, for God's sake. Brian did WrestleMania 19 with Hogan and McMahon. He did Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels at 21.
Wow.
Jimmy did Undertaker and Edge at 24. And keep in mind, gentlemen, Jimmy was specifically requested by Undertaker and Edge to do that match. And Undertaker asked Jimmy if he was willing to take the big boot from him as a ref bump.
Nice.
And then we wouldn't have that meme that everybody has now of Charles Robinson running down the ramp.
That's right.
That was that pay-per-view.
I forgot about that. That is what leads to that. You see that meme of Charles, but what happened before? Yeah. No, that's awesome. I was watching, I was rewatching part of WrestleMania 26 the other day for something that we're doing, and then I was at that Mania, so it was great to see. And I saw Jimmy as a ref in one of the matches, and I was like, yeah, look at him. And you just see how they're like, he's where he's supposed to be every time. He's doing the job right. Like, yeah, those are professionals.
Exactly. And like I said, a lot of this stuff, yes, I am biased. I will admit it. But it's
right. That's what I was going to say. Thank you, George.
Oh, what's that, George?
Rightfully
so. Yeah.
Like you should.
Well, right. But it's just, I've shouted from the mountaintop for the last 3 years that these guys have earned it. They've earned the respect. They deserve the respect.
They set up the ring and everything. They do all that stuff no one wants to do.
Yeah. Hell, Jimmy, the whole ref strike, he was part of it. He was the scab referee.
Right.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
He was the one that was getting the boots put to him by Mike Chioda and, Timmy White and Earl.
Yeah.
And, he still says to this day he owes, Chioda a couple of receipts for laying him in too hard.
Hey, if anybody knows, you got to make it look good. It's the referees.
Well, they made it look good. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. Protect the business, brother.